Vodyanoy, an ancient Slavic water spirit who ruled rivers and lakes, drowned those who disrespected his domain and claimed the dead as his own beneath the surface. What kind of being ruled the depths? And what awaited those who crossed his waters? Don't worry, I'm here to reveal all the mysteries and stories for you to understand. I'm the Canvas Virtuoso. My job right now is to paint and color the image for you. Therefore, we can clarify all the vague pieces of information, put them into a big canvas. As a result, you can see a clear picture of all the painted matching pieces that you have missed. Today, we're going to dive into the origins of Vodyanoy, the fear he inspired along riverbanks, the offerings made in his name, and the quiet danger hidden beneath still water. Appearance. Vodyanoy was never described as a single fixed form, because water itself is never fixed. Most often, he appeared as an old man, bloated and heavy, his body swollen like something pulled from the river after too long. His skin was green, blue, or gray, covered in algae, mud, and rot. His hair and beard flowed endlessly, like river weeds drifting with unseen currents. Water constantly dripped from his body, even when he stood on dry land. Some stories gave him webbed hands. Others replaced his legs with a fish's tail. In certain regions, fish were said to live in his beard, but the most disturbing detail was this. Vodyanoy could look almost human. Not perfect, just familiar enough. And when he did, it meant the water was about to claim someone. Gender in Slavic folklore. In Slavic folklore, the gender of spirits was rarely random. It reflected how people understood power, control, and responsibility. Vodyanoy is almost always portrayed as male because he represents ownership and authority over territory. Male spirits in Slavic belief are typically associated with control, boundaries, and enforcement. They rule spaces, forests, fields, houses, and in this case, water. Vodyanoy fits this pattern exactly. He does not lure, wander, or tempt. He governs. Female water spirits, such as rusalki, represent a different concept. They are linked to emotion, attraction, and movement. Their danger is indirect. Vodyanoy's danger is structural. Vodyanoy was not a god, but he ruled something just as powerful. Each river, lake, and mill pond was believed to have its own master. Vodyanoy did not control all water, only his water, and that made him territorial. He governed currents, sudden floods, broken ice, and the invisible pull beneath calm surfaces. Fishermen blamed him when nets came back empty. Villagers whispered his name when someone drowned without explanation. He did not hunt. He waited. The river did the rest. A story of broken respect. One well-known tale speaks of a miller who lived beside a slow-moving river. For years, the mill prospered. The wheel turned smoothly. The river never flooded. The miller always left bread, salt, and vodka by the water. But as time passed, he stopped. He laughed at the old warnings. The river, he believed, belonged to him now. One night, the water rose without rain. The mill wheel screamed and snapped. By morning, the miller was gone. His body was later found tangled beneath the wheel, covered in weeds, eyes open, as if still staring into the depths. The villagers said Vodyanoy had come to collect, not out of rage, out of balance. How did people deal with Vodyanoy? People did not try to defeat Vodyanoy. They did not pray to him for miracles, and they did not expect mercy. They treated him as a permanent presence, something that had to be acknowledged, not challenged. Communities living near rivers and lakes developed unwritten rules. Water was approached carefully, especially at night. Loud behavior, whistling, or mocking the river was avoided, not because it summoned something, but because it showed disrespect toward a force that could respond. Millers were among the most cautious. Their livelihoods depended entirely on water, and any failure of the mill was interpreted as a warning. Offerings were placed near water wheels, bread, salt, vodka, sometimes animals, not as worship, but as recognition. Fishermen followed similar customs. The first catch, or the first drink, was often returned to the water. This act symbolized an understanding. What the river gives can also be taken back. When drownings occurred, they were rarely called accidents. Instead, people believed a boundary had been crossed by carelessness, arrogance, or simple forgetfulness. The response was never punishment of the water, only correction of human behavior. In this way, Vodyanoy functioned less like a demon and more like a rule of nature, enforced through belief. Regional differences. Vodyanoy did not exist as a single, universal figure. His character shifted depending on where people lived and how they interacted with water. In regions dominated by wide, unpredictable rivers, such as parts of Russia, Vodyanoy was described as violent and unstable. He was blamed for sudden floods, broken ice, and drownings that happened without warning. Here, water was something that could change overnight, and the spirit associated with it reflected that danger. Further west, in areas of Poland and Ukraine, Vodyanoy appeared more negotiable. Rivers were smaller, communities closer to the water, and survival depended on cooperation rather than distance. Stories from these regions emphasize offerings and agreements, suggesting that people believed respectful behavior could reduce the spirit's hostility. In Czech and Slovak folklore, Vodyanoy became closely tied to mills. He was believed to live beneath water wheels, where human engineering directly interfered with natural flow. Here, he was less a force of chaos and more a guardian of balance, punishing carelessness, neglect, or greed. These differences reveal something important. Vodyanoy was shaped by environment, not by a fixed mythology. He reflected how each community experienced water, as a threat, a partner, or a resource. But across all regions, one idea remained constant. Water was never neutral, and humans were never in full control of it. Vodyanoy was not meant to explain magic. He was meant to explain risk. He represented the idea that water is never neutral, that calm surfaces hide danger, and that familiarity does not equal safety. The lesson was simple: respect what you cannot control. Even today, rivers and lakes behave the same way. They do not warn. They do not forgive mistakes. We no longer tell stories about Vodyanoy, but we still follow the rules he represented.